Hi everyone! I hope you have a great start to the year. In this first devlog of 2023, we will see the new models for the player character, a couple of variants for the Fallen, and finally the model for Grandma. So let's get started! The game's overall aesthetic is realistic, with some nods to stylized, anime influenced, and a mix of Western and Eastern cultures. For the player, inspiration came from Knights of the Zodiac, Zelda, and in terms of clothing and accessories, a mix of The Witcher and God of War. As always, the first thing is creating the character in Blender. Due to the problems I had previously with the rigging of the characters to adapt to the ALS Animan, you can see the problem explained in Devlog 45. I'll leave the link below if you want to take a look. I came up with the following solution. I created a base mesh based on the anatomy and volume of the Animan. Thanks to that, the characters move similarly to the Animan, and no unexpected deformations ruin the model. However, you still have to make some minor manual adjustments, nothing that cannot be fixed with weight painting. This solution greatly speeds up the character creation process and ensures that the characters will animate nicely in the game. Once I created the base mesh, I can create all my characters from it. The next step is to texture the character with Substance Painter and import it into Unreal, where I create the materials and iterate between the two software until I'm satisfied with the result. When the materials are ready, I go back to Blender, and with the help of the Auto Rig Pro, I rig the character. All the characters will be using this rig, so they will share the same skeleton, which allows for sharing animations, montages, and blueprint animations in UE5. Here we can see the final result of the player character in-game. I use the same process for all my characters. The next model is for the Fallen, one of my game's most basic and common enemies. The Fallen are human soldiers who, after dying in combat, were cursed to a life of torment and suffering. The idea is to create different variants. At the moment, there are only two. As you can see, they are a kind of zombie. Their body is still decomposing, so the older Fallen have more of their skeleton exposed, especially in those areas where they were wounded. Here you can see some of the images I use as inspiration. The software I use for this is PureRef. I'll leave the link in the description if you are interested. After creating the models in Blender and texturing them in Substance Painter, I import them to UE5. Here we can see them in action, attacking the player. Finally, I made a model of the grandmother. Although she's not an important character in terms of gameplay, she's an essential character for the story and course of the game. Once again, I collect references for the style, accessories, and even real people to see how wrinkles are formed over time, skin color, etc. I follow the same process again. Modeling in Blender, texturing in Substance Painter, and rigging with the same rig in Blender and Auto Rig Pro. Once in UE5, the character is ready to be used in the blueprint of the NPC. I only have to replace the skeletal mesh, and everything works correctly as when I use the placeholder. Finally, I've started setting the game's light and mood. I use ultra dynamic skylining, which also includes dynamic weather. And to customize even more my game, I use custom LUTs in a post-process volume to modify the color, contrast, brightness, etc. As you can see here, changing the LUTs radically changes the style of the game. You can also adjust the intensity for more control of the effect. And this was all the progress so far. As always, thank you very much for watching and see you soon.